Hello, this is my book haul for the first half of November. Firstly, I'll start off with two hardbacks that I bought locally. Firstly, Christopher Priest, The Separation. If my understanding is correct, this was first produced as a Scribner paperback and subsequently issued as a Gollancz hardcover. I believe this may have been shortened slightly and is not the full text, but I'm talking from memory. I'm not an expert on that, but I was pleased to get this because I do like Christopher Priest. The other hardback I bought locally is this one, an Andre Norton collaboration with Sasha Miller. Main reason I bought that, lovely condition, first printing, and it was only 79p. Right, all the other buys for the first half of November were obtained on a trip. I travelled up to Leicestershire and Yorkshire to visit friends and family, and I made the most of the trip, took the opportunity to check out a number of charity shops, charity bookshops and other bookshops. So this is what I found. I probably went to about 40 charity shops and I only found one had anything that I was even vaguely interested in. And I'll show you that. These are three of the Alex Benedict novels, numbers I think 6, 7 and 8. Let me just check. Yeah, 6, 7 and 8. These are all reprints, but I didn't have them. They were £1 each, so I thought I would get them. And also I got book 9, which was the first printing hardback. So 4 books in the Alex Benedict series by Jack McDevitt. Not a series I've started. I've still got a couple of gaps earlier on in the series, but I thought the chance to get 4 later on in the series was worthwhile. Total only £5. Next I'll go on to, so that was it for the ordinary charity shops. I'll go on to the charity bookshops. Now there was one chain of 3, and the only book that I found in those 3 was this one, Existence by David Brin. First printing, nice condition. I remember seeing this in the shops when it came out, but I thought it was rather dear and I can't see a price on it. But I suspect it was fairly dear at the time and I didn't bother buying, but I was pleased to pick it up now. And that was it for one chain of Leicestershire charity bookshops. Also on the trip I visited 4 Oxfam bookshops, and the only book I thought that was worth buying was this one, first printing, The Cold Cash War by Robert Asprin. A Nell hardback, lovely condition. I have the paperback, not a particularly good copy, and I thought at £2 it was worth getting that. So that was it as far as the charity bookshops. So I visited 7 and got 2 books. Now I'll talk about more normal bookshops. First of all, there was an ordinary bookshop, fairly small, in Harrogate, where I went for a day trip. I bought 2 books, not particularly great bargains, but I was pleased to get them. First one was this, Robert Buechner, Overkill. Now this is the first book in a trilogy. and I have the other two, so although perhaps slightly dear, I was pleased to get. And the other book that I got from that shop was Betrayer, C.J. Cherryh, another book in that really long series, which I forget what it was called, a foreigner novel. So it was the next one in the series that I hadn't got, so I was pleased to pick that up. So that was the first of the bookshops. The second one was one I've used in the past a couple of times. Normally I've bought perhaps just one or two books at most. It was a small shop in a market, normally had about 500 paperbacks, and I'm sad to say that is now closing down, and they were doing their closing down sale. So having at one point their books had all been reduced to £1, and when I went they were down to 50p or 3 for £1. So I bought 3, and I'll show you the 3 that I bought. This one, Into the Fire, book 2 of Vatter's Peace, Elizabeth Moon. Very nice condition. I already have it, but I thought it wouldn't harm to get another copy to use as a reading copy, or just as a spare. Having to make up the 3, I bought 2 other books. This one I thought might be worth a little bit. Not really, but it's reasonably collectible, and I'll read the inscription on the front page. The most frightening novel of this generation relegates Orwell's 1984 and Huxley's Brave New World to the nursery. So I thought it might be an interesting book, might even possibly be considered sci-fi. It seems to be moderately common, not too expensive. So I bought that. And the third one that I bought was this. Lady Sings the Blues, Billie Holiday. Now, one of the reasons I bought this is it's an Ace Books one published in the UK, so it's got a UK price. This is H327. Now, UK Ace books that are related to science fiction are thin on the ground, and I'll tell you the ones I'm aware of. The one that I have is The Small Assassin by Ray Bradbury, which was, hang on, if you just let me check. Sorry, I haven't got a note of which number that was, but I have a copy of that. And there was also another by Ray Bradbury, The October Country. So those were 2 Ace singles that had the Ace logo and were published in the UK. There is also an Ace double, which includes the Drachman novel The Plague, which was in Ace D13, and in this country, when it was printed as an Ace double here, was printed with a different book or a different story by Marvin Clare. I have a copy of that, although I couldn't find it to show you at the moment. But the one I have is really, really poor condition. So that's one I would quite like to get. So this one is H327, and it seems moderately scarce and moderately collectible. So I was 3 books for £1. I think I did rather well. And finally, the last bookshop that I visited was totally by chance. I was driving out of Loughborough in Leicestershire, when I was stopped at some traffic lights, looked to my left and saw a sign for a bookshop. And so I thought, I wonder what that is. No idea, never heard of it. So I drove round the corner and parked and went in and said, have you got any science fiction? And she said, oh yes. Took me through, showed me 3 bookcases with science fiction and fantasy. And she said, I've just bought a collection of 600, and one of these bookcases was all the new stuff that she bought. She was still in the process of pricing them. And so I was delighted. I had a look through and I bought a dozen books. And I'll show you the books that I bought. First one, Miracle Visitors, Ian Watson. It's a VGSF classic. Lovely condition. I haven't yet tried to remove labels from any of these books that I bought. As I said, I think on my VGSF videos, I never tried to collect these, but I don't pass up an opportunity if I see them, and this is one I didn't have, so I had to get that one. Next, again VGSF, but this one of the ones I covered in my videos. Absolutely beautiful condition. I know the other copy I have of this is signed, but it is not anywhere near as good condition. So I was delighted to get this as an upgrade, and hopefully at some point I'll be able to get Paul to sign this. So that was my second bite, and I was really delighted. Next, I Asimov, a memoir. It has a spine crease and it is a reprint, but I didn't have a copy of this, so I thought it was worth buying. Next, again, in one of my other videos I did say I do collect the women's press books, and this was one I didn't have. It's the first book I've got by this author, so I can't say anything much about it. It has got one slight crease, bottom corner, so not perfect. It's still got labels to come off. I'm hoping they'll come off. And so I bought that. I thought that was a good purchase. The next one, I have a copy of this. This might be a slight upgrade. It's in lovely condition. So Robert E. Howard, Bran McMahon. A lovely copy, so pleased to get that. The next book I'll show you is this one, Legion from the Shadows. Now this was first published, I believe, as a zebra paperback. This is a Baen book. It's got a slight spine crease, but otherwise it's very nice. This seems to be on quite hard, so it might be difficult to remove, but I will probably try in due course. As I say, I have the zebra paperback, but I didn't have this edition, so I was quite pleased to pick that up. And Carl Edward Wagner has become somewhat more collectible recently. The next 3 I'll show you I bought basically because of the condition. I had the set, but mine was a mixed editions, and this was a uniform set. Lee Brackett, the Eric John Stark novels. This was the first one. All 3 were first printings, New English Library printings. The second one in that series was this one. Again, beautiful condition. And the third one, again, beautiful condition. So though these were slightly dear, it was worth it in my view, based on the condition. Next, one that I'm pleased to get because it's a collectible book. Lovely condition. It will be an improvement on the copy I already have. The Arac by Michael Shea. Now this series has become rather collectible, and this is a beautiful copy. Again, another label to try and get off. But this was a lovely copy. You know, slight tanning, but basically a beautiful copy. So I was very happy with that. Next, I bought two hardcovers. This one I thought was ridiculously cheap, so I couldn't resist. And that's Roadside Picnic by Arkady and Boris Strugatsky. This has become very collectible in recent years. It's in lovely condition apart from a couple of slight, I don't know whether you can see, slight dents there. Other than that, it is in lovely condition and is definitely a collector's item now. And finally, the best of Fritz Leiber, or is that Leiber? I'm not sure. Sidgwick and Jackson, first printing. This will probably be best known as a Ballantine or Del Rey best of book, which I do have a copy of, but it was nice to pick up the hardcover as well. This was printed in 1974, and by the looks of it, that label was an original pricing label, so I doubt that I'll try and remove that. I suspect that after 50 years that may not come off without damage. So that was the last of the ones I bought from that bookshop. Found totally by chance. I will go back there if I'm that way again, and it is definitely worth a visit. And those 12 books I agreed a price of £40 for, so I thought that was a very good buy. The lady also gave me a bookmark. That's the name of the shop, the Old Curiosity Bookshop. It's a mile or two north of Loughborough, and I say it's by pure chance that I saw it driving out of that area. If you want to see, I don't know whether that will show, probably won't show. Anyway, that is it for my book haul. I hope you enjoyed. Paul Cooper signing off.